First of all, on behalf of the SOHP 2020 team, we'd like to thank you for being here today and in such a way making a very valuable contribution to this initiative. My name's Rory Downham and I'm Director of L&D with Bioforce, and I'm leading this very exciting project. Let me say a few words about the study and then I'll take you through the objectives and the content of this workshop. Bioforce, for those of you who don't know us, we're a France-based NGO specialized in capacity strengthening in the humanitarian sector, decided to launch this initiative in order to respond to an urgent need for more visibility on the work of people deployed in humanitarian action. So why this need, you may say? Well, there are a number of reasons. First of all, humanitarian professions are in constant evolution. The ecosystem of humanitarian aid has evolved rapidly with a strong impact on the organization of response and the profiles of the personnel deployed. Some of these key evolutions are, for example, technology, with its impact on operational modalities with cash-based interventions and the use of drones, new actors, civil protection, the private sector, and the growing importance of national and local actors. Changing context of intervention, namely with respect to security, changes in the system itself with the impact of the grand bargain aiming at more efficiency and effectiveness, changes in donor policies, quality standards. Furthermore, the sheer numbers of organizations and individuals engaged in humanitarian aid has increased considerably, as is underlined in the latest LNAP state of the humanitarian system. All these changes are having a strong impact on humanitarian professions. Within existing functions, technical, support and coordination management functions, which need to evolve, and also with the creation of new professions in order to respond to the evolutions of the ecosystem. With the effects of the localization agenda on roles and profiles of humanitarian personnel, with a wider and more inclusive perspective on the full range of professions deployed by traditional humanitarian actors, but also by new actors from the private and public sectors. Next, anticipating the evolutions of humanitarian professions is a key to quality humanitarian response. The capacities of those delivering response to humanitarian crises determines the quality of aid, its relevance, effectiveness, and sustainability, and is key to the effective application of humanitarian principles. Organizations endeavor not only to identify the technical knowledge and skills specific to each function, but also, more globally, the cross-cutting knowledge, skills, and behaviors shared amongst the various functions within their structure. In order for their action to remain relevant, humanitarian organizations need visibility on how their structure will need to function and with which competencies. Another essential aspect is the need for professionalization and training. Experience and empirical approaches have for a long time constituted the essence of learning and training within humanitarian organizations. Traditional practice within the sector has long been based on the idea that the training of new professionals must be done on the job and in the field. Today, humanitarian organizations express a need for trained and competent personnel. They have developed a culture of efficiency and professionalism and look to recruit people who are already trained and directly operational. The mapping, identification of the various functions or professions in the sector, their evolution and associated competencies is essential for measuring the needs in terms of professionalization and relevant training solutions. Finally, the lack of visibility on humanitarian professions and their evolution constitutes a real challenge for employers, but also for individuals. Despite a handful of initiatives aimed at providing more visibility on the various professions and pathways within the humanitarian sector, there is no reference that provides a holistic and exhaustive picture of humanitarian professions, their evolution, recruitment criteria and practice, associated training solutions, and professional pathways. The SOHP 2020 initiative, which is sponsored by an advisory group including the CHS Alliance, ALNAP, PHAP, and a number of implementing organizations in the sector, will provide a sector-wide reference publication on trends in humanitarian professions today. It will cover a number of areas: current debates and thinking on what humanitarian professions means, their identity with respect to professions in other sectors, and connections with the nexus between humanitarian and development approaches and operations. A snapshot on 24 humanitarian profession areas. Trends across humanitarian professions. What is changing and what is driving that change? Identification of common knowledge, skills and behaviours essential across all humanitarian professions, and trends in recruitment and professional development. So what have we done so far in the project? Well, research including over 90 interviews with key informants on the 24 profession areas, a survey with active humanitarian practitioners for which we have had 750 responses, and now, to complete the information gathered so far, a number of local workshops around the world to ensure that the study grasps the input and vision from the field, from different geographical areas and from different types of humanitarian contexts. The final step will be a conference on the 28th of April in Geneva, to which you are warmly invited and which, for those who can't make it to the venue, will be accessible from a distance. We'll be sending you more information on this event. Thanks again for taking the time to be with us today. We really appreciate it.